choice. We must work together because we represent the states. Ours is to come up with safety recommendations, and we pass all this to NCA. Sometimes we bring in NCA to be part of our investigation. Sometimes, if we think there is need for it, there is stakeholder in this, and when we come up with these safety recommendations, we pass this on to NCA. There is actually a joint committee between NCA and AIB that looks into these safety recommendations as from the enforcement part of point of view. So there must be a strong collaboration, and there has always been, and there is a strong collaboration between NCA and AIB recommendations. Yes, we have NCA, who is the regulator, always ensuring that they keep to it, because sometimes you can have a safety recommendation that says make sure there is your checkman pilot goes through recertification maybe every 2 years, but some airline may say, okay, there may be an issue, okay, my check pilot this time maybe once in 3 years. Yeah, they may have complied initially, but over time they may sleep. That is why NCA needs to be constantly on it. This is why we cannot say these safety recommendations are okay, we've complied, and then everybody goes to sleep. It is a constant, we have to be doing a constant review.
Then to two countries where air travel faces disruptions following staff strikes and an airline's suspension of operations.
People standing in line at a Copa Airlines counter as hundreds of passengers were stranded in Caracas last week, a day after Venezuela announced it was halting commercial relations with Panamanian officials and companies, including the regional airline. Venezuela's Civil Aviation Authority said in a statement that inbound and outbound Copa flights were suspended for 90 days, effective Friday, April 6, as a measure to protect the Venezuelan financial system. Frustrated passengers said they were not sure when or how they would be able to continue with their travel plans.
I
don't even know what's going to happen with me here right now. I don't know how I'm going to get back to Argentina. I've been living in Argentina for 2 years. My brother is there. I had land over in Chile because I can't afford the $2,000 to pay for a direct flight from Argentina to Venezuela. So I took a flight from Argentina to Chile and spent the night in the airport to catch the Copa flight, so they can do this to me now. It's not Copa's fault. I know it isn't Copa doing this.
The general manager for Copa Airlines in Venezuela says the airline is hoping to be able to reach an agreement with the government.
We are hopeful that some kind of agreement will be reached that will try to shorten the timeline, or that something will happen that will allow us to restart operations. We are dedicated to our passengers and the connectivity we provide Venezuela by flying 76 destinations in 31 countries.
Hundreds of stranded passengers queued up at ticketing counters at the airport and at Copa's Venezuelan headquarters in Caracas. While passengers laid the suspension of Copa Airlines flight between Venezuela and Panama at the feet of the Venezuelan government, its fellow country Panama says it will affect the citizens of Venezuela more. Panama's President Juan Carlos described the Venezuelan announcement as nonsensical. He said further sanctions would be imposed by Panama.
I think the measure taken by Venezuela to suspend the Copa flights affect Venezuelan people more. It's a measure that makes no sense because it's a president affecting its own people. Panama is a logistical route through the aerial connectivity in Panama. Food, medicines are sent to Venezuela. Because Panama is a pharmaceutical center, Venezuelans use Panama a lot to supply themselves with medicine.
Venezuela's resolution has named the president and nearly 24 cabinet ministers and top-ranking officials, saying that Panama's financial system had been used by Venezuelan nationals involved in acts of corruption. The statement came a week after Panama declared Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and some 50 Venezuelan nationals as high risk for laundering money and financial terrorism.
Panama processed these alerts that become international to the financial centers, to the financial institutions. It's a political reaction to the approach of an election that will not be recognized by many countries. And we hope that reason prevails. If not, Panama will continue to take more measures to those already announced in the next days and weeks.
Venezuela has been hit with sanctions by Canada, the United States, and a number of other countries over issues ranging from human rights violations to corruption and drug trafficking. A multi-track air route connecting Lhasa and Chengdu in southwest China has been officially put into use after test operations since March the 1st. This is expected to enhance the airspace capacity along the line by about 85% and bring real benefits to the Tibet Autonomous Region. Here, an individual believes it will profit the region's perishable agricultural produce. Apart from bringing in fresh fruits, the increased airspace capacity will also fly in more tourists and help increase tourism income of the local people. Bayama, a Tibetan-style restaurant owner, is full of hope about his business with the ever-improving transport system.
Now
there are more and more tourists in Tibet. With the convenient transport and more tourists, the business is getting better and better year after year. My plan is to run a branch in Chengdu, as there are many flights from Lhasa to Chengdu and the daily income would be quite good. We can transport some fresh vegetables directly from Lhasa to Chengdu in a very short period and get them used very quickly.
Statistics show Tibet received more than 25.6 million tourists in 2017, with tourism industry revenues reaching 37.94 billion yuan or 22.1% of the region's GDP. It has hence become an important strategy to further promote air traffic next.
The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority asked pilots to be cautious as the rains begin. That's a news flash after the break. Do join us again.